We are connected to our family far beyond just our bones and our blood and our DNA. We are actually connected to them through our consciousness, through their consciousness. So when we hear things like healing our lineage and our ancestors through healing ourselves, that's because we are actually deeply interconnected to the consciousness, which is energy, and energy never dies, and which is connected to our ancestors. So really you can heal your family, heal that of your family, whether they're here or not. And if they are here on earth, then healing yourself is healing your family members, and they can feel when you heal. So I'll get into all of this, but welcome to the Activation Vibration. I'm Heather, and if you haven't seen part 1 of this video, definitely go watch that afterwards, because that video is more so about actually healing the dynamics specifically with your family members. This is how to heal yourself, how to actually heal from having toxic family members or toxic dynamics within your family. And both are so necessary. That's why I had to make 2 parts to this video, healing with family, because there is so much to it. And in part 1, I share the different ways to heal with different family members. Again, in this video, it's about how to actually heal with yourself, how to heal yourself and thus heal your family members. Now, these are some of the things that I personally did to heal myself, and no joke, I didn't even know if my mom was alive while I was doing these things, but I knew. I was like, I am healing myself. I'm healing my family, my lineage, my mom, and also those beyond my mom, those who created my mom, my grandmother, my great-grandparents, all of those. I'm healing those members of my family and those consciousnesses through my own healing, through my own conscious healing. And again, I didn't even know if my mom was alive at this point, and sure enough, it actually encouraged her. I mean, she was on her own path as well, but here we are. It kind of just confirmed and proved to be true, where as I was doing my own healing, she also did her own healing and even found herself. And again, she was on a different part of the world, didn't even know she was alive. She was in a completely different state. She got herself into yoga, kundalini, and spiritual practices where she actually was doing what she even called shadow work and was clearing her ego and healing things that, again, I couldn't even believe. I couldn't even write, my mom starts to do shadow work. It's like, that's like a hilarious desire, miracle, dream. Specifically, it happened though. It specifically happened. So it just goes to show that this really is so powerful beyond belief. And of course, we're all on our own journeys, but I do like to just observe in confirmation that as I did my own healing, my mom was also encouraged to do her own healing. And then we both healed and were able to come back together completely healed. So here's some of the things that I did to heal myself and encourage the healing of the rest of my family. And it's just so magical to be able to say that. So, okay, here we go. First thing is to heal yourself first. I speak a little bit about this in the first video, where maybe a necessary detachment and severing, cutting of the cords, a no contact rule is necessary in order to heal and clear the relationship. So in order to heal yourself, if you have to cut off and clear from your family, have no contact for a period of time, do so. Do whatever is necessary and required for you to have your own healing. Maybe that is going to therapy and speaking to someone, maybe creating more art and sharing your pain, your transformation through art. Figure out what is best for you to heal and do the healing. Prioritize your healing. Know that as you heal first, you then heal your lineage. Your family will also subconsciously be encouraged to heal, even just through consciousness. You heal yourself by doing the shadow work. Now, this may be crying or talking or, again, going to therapy, having some form of expression, but it is moving through the emotion. The density, the toxicity, the stagnancy, the things that hurt are painful, immediately make you emotional. Go into them, sit in them, be with them. Allow for the thoughts to arise and the worries, the fears, and just keep breathing. If necessary, just be present and neutral, but if possible, activate a positivity where you're like, it's okay, and it's okay, and I'm fine, and I trust it, and I'm still healthy, and I'm still here, and I'm still happy. Flooding this frequency and being with the emotion. This is shadow work. It's getting through it. And you'll notice too, you may think that you don't have the tools initially to get through that. You do. You absolutely do. And in fact, only you do have the actual tools, the healing, the medicine that is required to actually heal from it. So you doing your own shadow work, being within it, maybe it is going to a woman's circle or a men's circle or a therapy, something to activate the emotion, but actually being present with it, not running from it, not trying to suppress it or hide it from others or being embarrassed, being real, being raw, allowing for it to just be. That is shadow work. That's what will heal you. That's what will heal the dynamic, whatever experience or situation, blockage, maybe you don't even know what it is. Doing this will reveal it. Plant medicine is also really helpful to do shadow work or to heal from certain situations or belief systems even. Ayahuasca, iboga, cannabis can also be really helpful. Hoppe can be a very clearing medicine. Grandfather tobacco, there are different medicines that can help to cleanse and clarify your field so that you can better access your emotions and understand what they're actually saying to you. Because you may be experiencing an ailment or an issue in your life, a sickness, an imbalance, actually because of a spiritual or an emotional issue. There may be a root cause that is far beyond anything physical. And by even just identifying that, being with that, allowing for that thing to heal, then you actually heal the whole of the imbalance and the ailment, and you heal from it physically as well. So this can have many positive and powerful responses and results. And while you're going through this process, it may be necessary to have no contact or to create space with your family members as you're doing the healing, going through the shadow work. If so, create that space. Do not make yourself responsible for the healing of others. Again, focus on and prioritize your own healing so that you can actually be available for and a frequency for, a match for healing to influence others. So don't be the savior. Set boundaries and hold those boundaries, honor those boundaries in a loving way. That is the healing. But you are not the one that is meant to save and to heal and be responsible for others. You must focus on yourself so that you can influence with the greatest frequency of healing. And when you do have to cut off a family member, you can also send them love. You don't have to just be closed off and cut off and angry or bitter or have some negative energy. You can send them love. Be of a loving frequency even when you think of them. You can even speak to their higher self, where you send them love. I speak of this often, where you can do this especially if they're not on earth anymore and you aren't able to make peace with them. You can speak to their higher self. You can also do this when you're not able to have contact with them, or they're unhealthy, or it's not a good dynamic, to speak with them. You can communicate to their higher self and have a healing with their higher self. Now, this is not just for you. This is not just some like woo-woo, like, okay, let's believe that this is doing something. No, it's all connected. Again, you are connected to the consciousness, the hearts, the awareness, and the knowing of your family members, the wisdom, the Akashic records of your family history. So when you speak to the higher self, when you speak to that Akashic record book of your family members in a beautiful and loving way, it is felt, it is received. Whether they fully integrate it instantly or not, it is received. And once you do the healing, you'll notice things become a lot lighter, where you don't take it so serious and so personally that you're like this human that had these things happen to you. Instead, it's like, oh, I'm a human that chose to come to this earth, and these are my specific lessons. This is what I was gifted to learn from and create from and to transform from. So it's not as negative, and you can even then laugh at it. This is one of the most medicinal healing things for me to do, is to laugh at things, especially with my family and within my family. This is my sister's healing as well. We laugh together, and I even like to just make jokes about it. Create skits, even comedy skits about it. No joke. I'm like not planning to be a comedian anytime soon, but you know, if I want to retire from all of this, then I'll probably become a comedian. And I already have many skits from just actual real life, legit things that have happened in my family where I can see it from a higher perspective, a healthier perspective, and not as a victim in the situation, and just how hilarious it is. It is hilarious, actually hilarious that I experience these things. And so I can say it in a funny way, and that is so healing. I feel like for me to experience, but also for others to hear, where they're like, that happened, and it's like, yeah, and I'm literally not even exaggerating it at all. They're like, that happened, and you're laughing about it, and it's funny. It's like actually hilarious. You saw that funny, and it is funny, but like it's so traumatic, but it's not anymore because it's funny. It's a medicine. It's such a potent and powerful medicine. So if you have family members that are receptive to humor, that is like the go-to language. I find that's just like the best. I like only speak to my sister in a different voice and language. We don't speak normally to each other. We literally don't. It only works, our relationship only works if we speak to each other in very specific, inappropriate voices. So I will not do the voices here. However, healing, medicine, so good. And also my dad is hilarious, my mom is hilarious, everyone, my grandma is hilarious, my aunt is hilarious, my cousin, everyone is a comedian pretty much, a self-proclaimed comedian, a Heather appointed comedian. It's honestly, it's everything. It's like, that's why I love my family so much, is because we use humor. So speak the language of humor and laughter, playfulness, if possible. That's the next best thing. If humor or cleverness, funny, isn't really the thing in your family, they don't get it, they don't want to get it, whatever, playfulness, being childlike and doing something that's fun and that you know everyone loves, or at least specific ones love and can have fun with, and being in a playful childlike energy. That is also so healing with family members, and it can heal any situation, any dynamic, always. Again, in order to get to this state, it is necessary to prioritize your own healing first, and to do the self-care, to remove yourself from situations, to love yourself, to nourish yourself, to do the shadow work, and to always honor your own boundaries. If it doesn't make sense for you to go to certain things, don't go. If it doesn't make sense for you to answer calls at certain times, or to be there, or to constantly play a specific role for a family member, don't. You are allowed to, and even need to, for your sake and for their sake, you are allowed to and need to end contracts and agreements that have expired, that are no longer resonant or helpful within the situation or dynamic. It is necessary for us to direct and shift relationships in this life as much as necessary. That's a part of our gift and our purpose. So always prioritize yourself, your own healing. And maybe it is something where you have a specific acknowledgement to yourself, where you are not taking on energy from your family. And maybe even after you speak to them, or after something happens, you shake, or you do your little shift, or whatever it is, tapping, you do something to shift you out of this state from taking on anything. Instead, you are completely sovereign and connected in your own energy. Your own state of being is so much more powerful, contagious, influential, and amplified more than you know. It really truly is. That's why our consciousness is connected to our family's consciousness, and therefore when we heal our consciousness, it also heals our families. So I hope that these things helped. And I'm curious, what are the things that you have personally done to heal your own self when dealing with toxic family and in result of toxic family members? Again, it is so necessary to do the therapy and to do practices and to even research and get acquainted with what it is that you've experienced in your family dynamics. When you go to therapy, and if you don't have time for therapy or money or whatever it is, then do your own research and understand the dynamics and thus the result of the dynamics that you may have been exposed to. What have you developed and acquired in response to your specific family members? Truly understand and even dissect what it is that you've experienced so that you can pull yourself out. Remember that it is often that we experience things in order to understand them so we can help others from them. That very well may be the situation. So do your research, understand, get acquainted with, and do your own healing. Do your own healing first. That is how we heal everyone else. So I hope that these things helped. Again, this is what I did to heal myself on my own, and it completely changed the dynamic with my mom to where she did her own healing. I swear she felt it. Our consciousnesses are connected. And by the way, there have been so many things now that I somehow picked up on with my mom and she picked up on from me during that period of time when we weren't talking, when we were not connected. But our consciousnesses were always connected. Even though we had severed the relationship and everything, there was of course still a transfer back and forth of communication subconsciously, where so many things came up where I was like, Mom, I do this now. And she's like, I started doing this then too. Or I call it this now. I started calling it this then too. Or like, how about this? I actually integrated this in my life then too. So even when we weren't connected and present in each other's lives, we were still connecting and communicating. So again, our consciousness is all connected, and it really is such a beautiful thing when you are intentional about it and you heal it and you focus on the positives. You amplify and fuel the positive frequencies through healing. As always, I'm sending you so much love, infinite blessings. Namaste.